This is episode 36 of the Steele podcast, and be sure to shop us at thestandsteelpodcast.com. Enjoy the show. And why did you get into the career advice arena?
So I'm from New York.
Okay.
I spent a little time away from New York and other places, but I'm back in New York now. And I wrote it because I saw so many people in pain about the job search. Now, I normally work with executives. My company, Control Your Career, is really an executive career advisory.
What does that mean to the people?
What that means is that when an executive feels stuck in their situation, when they feel like they're not earning enough, or they just want to do different work or better work in a better place, they come to me and I help them find a better job with more pay in a better environment for themselves, better situation. So that's with executives. But what I was seeing as executives were coming to me is that everybody else, lower than executives, were feeling so stuck. Now, this is the reason for this is several things. First, there was COVID, which rearranged the job workplace. There's COVID. It's changed things a lot. Then there was the Great Resignation, where 50 million people quit their jobs because they didn't like their bosses.
When did that happen?
That happened right after COVID, actually.
Okay.
People got used to liking working from home, and they wanted the flexibility, and they didn't like their bosses. That was the number one reason why. Then came the layoffs, which started in December of 2022. And there have been massive layoffs since then, up to 6 months. They keep coming. Because of all these issues, add in wars and presidential elections, and you've got a lot of chaos and a lot of frustration on both sides of the hiring desk. So hiring teams are trying to figure out who to hire, and job seekers are needing to feed their families, and they need to find a job. So you've got a lot, the marketplace is saturated now with all these people who are not executive level, below executive level, who are desperate to bring money in. And they haven't landed a job in months, or in sometimes years, some cases years. So I created Control Your Career. I wrote it to help everybody who is struggling in their career just to find an easier way, a more productive way of finding a job and a better job. Hi, so this is the book, and it's 5 steps that help you get through. This is Control Your Career, and includes 5 steps that involve your resume, your LinkedIn profile, interviews, your soft skills, and the job search strategy.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What are soft skills? What is that? What are soft skills?
I get that all the time. So soft skills are ways that you deal with other people. A lot of people think that soft skills are personality traits. They're not. Soft skills are your interpersonal skills, how you deal with challenges, how you handle conflict, how you inspire a team, how you deal with the bottom line, how you deal with policy and compliance. Those are all soft skills, and they involve being able to communicate with people who are not like you to be able to get the job done.
Okay. Now, what are the 5 steps that we need to go about in order to control our career?
So the 5 steps are: first, demonstrating your impact. How did you improve companies that you've worked for in the past? Step number 2 is addressing the company's needs. They need to know that you can solve their problems or their problem. Step 3 is improving your LinkedIn profile, because hiring teams are on LinkedIn all the time looking for people like you. The 4th step is conquering your interviews, making sure that you stand out and that you move along the hiring process. People want to keep talking to you and eventually hire you. And the last one is working on your soft skills, using your soft skills to help prove why you're the best person for the job.
I got a question. So I didn't hear you mention resume. How important nowadays is your resume? How important is that?
It's crucial. I didn't specifically mention resume because that's one part of all of this. You also have your LinkedIn profile and a possible cover letter and you have to be great in interviews. So the resume is one part of it. It's a major part of it, and I go into how to use a resume in the book. But the resume is only one material. You want to actually be found and seen with your resume and with your other materials.
Okay, now, you do this, or you provide this how-to service with your book in all job areas?
Yes, it works for all jobs in all sectors. The only sector that it might not be as effective is your work if you're very creative, going for in a very creative agency that requires a portfolio. But if that's a corporate job, and there are many creative corporate jobs, then you can use the book.
Awesome. So give us an idea of, what job prospects are looking like these days in terms of people applying for.
Right. So the marketplace is very saturated with applicants. For example, there's a statistic out there that LinkedIn has 11,000 applications every day. Per day, 11,000 applications for jobs. At a tech company where my friend is an executive, there are 2 leadership positions open. Each of the leadership positions got over 100,000 applications.
Wow.
And then the last stat I heard was recently at Goldman Sachs for internships, there were 300,000 applications.
But let me ask you this. In terms of salary, what percentage of applicants do you think are getting the salary that they're requesting?
So it depends how they ask for it. I think salaries on the whole have gone down, and there are again stats about this in reports. On the whole, since COVID, for a variety of reasons, salaries on the whole have gone down. However, my clients know how to talk about impact and the needs of the company in a way that they can negotiate a higher salary. And that happens every time.
Okay. Now, what am I to do if I can't get the salary that I'm looking for, but I really need this work, but I need the money? What should I do? What do you suggest to me?
You should be going about the strategy differently. Make sure you understand what the company needs from you. Make sure you understand what they're looking for, what their goals are, what their objectives are, and that you have been there, done that. So it is a job that's appropriate for you, where you can solve their problems. And then you want to make sure to use your impact, your results, your improvements at previous companies, not your skills, not your actions. Those will not get you the job or the salary. It's your impact and your improvements at previous positions that address that need, that prove your point.
Oh, okay, I see.
So here is the book cover again. And just to show you how much people are really needing this information, the book, I launched it officially July 8th. It's been a couple of weeks, 2 weeks. It has been the #1 book in new releases. So it's the #1 new book for the 2 weeks in 3 categories: in job hunting on Kindle and the actual paperback, and then also under job search strategy. So it's been the top book for a couple of weeks now, and I think this is because the information is really helping people and the word is getting around. So I'm really proud to be helping people, and I'm really proud of the book.
Where can we find it?
You can find it on Amazon, searching on Amazon, or you can also go to my website, controlyourcareer.net, and you'll see there's a place to find the book there. So controlyourcareer.net. You can also go to Amazon and look for Control Your Career by Soozy Miller.
What advice do you have to other aspiring authors that they will put out a product? What advice?
Be really patient with the work. I had to take a few breaks while I was writing this. Even though I'm a writer by trade, I had to take a few breaks while doing it. And don't worry if it's taking you a while to express yourself. You're trying to get an important message across, and that message is worthy of print. So make sure, just take your time to make sure that you're expressing yourself the way you want to.
How long did it take you to put Control Your Career together?
I'm going to say a year, but I have life circumstances that got in the way, but it was about a year.
Okay, understand. Well, like I said, the job situation is tough, and what do you say to kids coming out of school who are looking for $1 million on the first day? What do you say to those career seekers?
I say as long as you can show your impact, and there are ways of showing your impact even when you're fresh out of school. I have ways of helping you, but as long as you show your impact and show that you can address the company's needs, you can ask for more money than expected, but you have to be able to stand by that.
Okay, sounds great.
So this is one of my favorite stories. So I was teaching a resume class when I lived on Long Island before I moved to New York City. I was teaching a resume class, and this woman came from an hour away because there was nothing like my class near her. So she came from an hour away, and she was in tears. She was beside herself. And she showed me her resume before the class started, and it was about 10 pages, triple spaced, and in all script. And nobody was paying attention to her, and nobody was responding to her applications. So I went ahead and taught the class, and I told everybody in the class, take pictures of my slides, videotape me, whatever you got to do, it's okay. And she did that, and then the class ended. And at the end of the class, I was heading to my car, and I saw her coming around the corner. She did not see me, but she was coming around the corner, and she was smiling. And she hadn't had a chance to use any of the methodology yet. She hadn't had a chance to do anything about the class yet. But I can tell that I had changed her perspective. And I can tell that she had more energy and more confidence. And that smile, that's why I do what I do. There are also other stories of executives who came to me thinking that they only needed a refresh, or only needed me to fix typos, or only needed a better format. And turns out they needed much more than that. I was able to help them. So I'm able to change people's perspectives about their current circumstances.
Now, is it impossible to regroup and change directions? If you've been in a career for, let's say, 25 years.
Nothing's impossible. What you want to do, though, is you do want to change your strategy. You want to change the way you've been doing things if it hasn't been successful for you. So the market is tougher right now. It's harder to break through. That's why the steps in the book will really help you. It's a different perspective. It's a different strategy than you're used to. But if you follow the steps, and the more closely you follow the steps, the more you'll benefit from it.
Let me ask you this. What if you have a person that has a felony on their record? How could they use your advice to guide them along? Because I know it's a lot more difficult to find work when you have a felony.
So you have to admit the felony, because they're going to find it anyway. Admit it. But then what I suggest to my clients is admit it and then pivot. And what I mean by pivot is admit the felony, but then immediately go to how you acknowledge the company's needs and how you can address them, and any impact that you've had in the past at past companies that proves your point. So yes, you are admitting the truth, it happened, but then you're going to pivot to how you can make the company better anyway.
Okay, so you don't want to dwell on it.
You don't want to dwell on it. Admit it, but you don't want to dwell on it. Immediately switch to how you can address that company's needs and make them better.
Do you think that employers take people with felonies seriously as opposed to someone without a felony?
I think you can't generalize. I think that if you can prove that you understand the company's pain points and you understand what the company needs for that position, and you can prove that you've solved that problem before, despite the conviction, despite the past, I think you can still get through. I don't think you can generalize about every company.
Okay, so the sky's the limit is basically what you're saying.
The sky's the limit if you use the strategy, and the closer you stick to the strategy, the more you're going to benefit.
Anything else you want to say to the people before you go?
This is helping people. I'm so glad that it's helping people, and I look forward to helping more and more people. I just want to help people make more money and be in a better place, because the happier people are in their workplace, the better we're going to be as a community.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
I try to help you out no matter what I do. I gave you lots of things, never got enough for you. The day that I said no is when the trouble starts. I had to cut you off, said it hurt you to your heart.